5 ways you can stop late night snacking. So one of the questions that I get asked quite a lot is how do I stop those uncontrollable urges to start snacking? And to be honest, especially as females, we have hormones. Even as a male, I get the urges to snack and I don't have the hormone fluctuation that females have. So sometimes it's all about not putting too much pressure on yourself. Sometimes when you put more pressure on yourself, it forces you to, it actually makes you want to eat more. But there are certain things that you can actually do. So I'm going to go over a few things here. A lot of these kind of things link into each other, but these things can definitely help you stop snacking, and I've helped clients in the past. It helps me. I absolutely love sweets. I've got a really bad sweet tooth. One of the things that I do to help cope, well, I pretty much do all of these things to help cope with that, to be honest, and I managed to just about keep it under control. But like I say, we're all human, we all make mistakes, no one's perfect, and you never have to be perfect. So if you do suffer with snacking, one of the best things that I've not actually included in this is to not put too much pressure on yourself. Don't go into self-sabotage mode, and don't think that you're, just because you've had one chocolate bar, that you've wrecked absolutely everything. That's never the case. So perfection doesn't exist. You just got to put one foot in front of the other and keep moving forward. So first things first, and one of the best things that you can do, so number one is include more fiber into your diet. So fiber actually stops your blood sugar from spiking too high, and sometimes when you're craving, when you're really craving certain foods, when you need that sugary fix, that glucose fix, it's because your blood sugar is spiking. So fiber helps to stop this. So fiber is included in wholemeal things, so like whether that be pasta, whether that be bread, whether that be nuts, certain vegetables contain fiber, potatoes, things like that. So it's all about trying to get a little bit more fiber into your diet. Like I say, this can help balance out your blood sugar, stop it from spiking too high, and stop you constantly craving some sugary things for that pick-me-up, if that makes sense. So number two kind of fits into that. So eat more complex carbs. So the difference between complex carbs and simple carbs. So complex carbs are a lot more complex to break down in the body. Simple carbs are a lot more simple to break down. So complex carbs give long-lasting energy. Simple carbs give quick, short energy. So simple carbs are things like bananas, white rice, sugar. So simple carbs is mainly sugary things, more sugary. So sweets, it gives you that fast injection of carbohydrates because it's simple to break down. It goes into the system quick. Carbohydrates get stored in the muscle as glycogen. And if you're having simple carbs like sugar, like anything glucose, it gets stored in the muscle quickly as glycogen. Complex carbs are a lot slower to break down in the body. So when we're talking complex carbs, we're talking sweet potato, we're talking oats, with wholemeal bread, brown rice instead of white rice. So it's usually the more brown things are a lot more complex carbs. So complex carbs, like I say, a lot slower to break down. So you get the release of energy a lot slower. So you're not constantly up and down. For example, if you have a load of sweets, and this again goes back into blood sugar, if you have a load of sweets, you're going to get a fast injection of energy, and then suddenly you're going to not have that energy and you might hit a wall and you might need that pick me up again. But if you're having more complex carbs, this is why oats are a really good breakfast to have in the morning, because they're a complex carb. So you get the release of energy throughout the day a lot slower. Hopefully that makes sense. Complex carbs also contain more fiber, which is why it actually links into eating more fiber, because you're actually getting more fiber in through your diet. Like starchy veg as well contains complex carbs and more fiber. So number three is high protein. Eat a high protein diet. Now anyone that's with the Inspire Uplift Club will be on a high protein diet, because high protein, a higher protein diet, not extremely high. But one of the things with protein, so protein actually makes you feel more full. So one of the things that when we're craving food is because we're hungry. So if you can feel more full, you're not actually craving more food. So protein sits in the gut for a lot longer. It takes a lot longer to break down. So it actually sits in the gut for longer, and this is why it gives you the feeling of feeling more full. I'll always remember one client said to me once, and she said, all my life I've always thought I was just like someone that could eat a lot, and I was never full, I was never hungry. When I was dieting, I was just constantly hungry. And as soon as I started eating more protein, I realized it was just protein that I needed. And that has always stuck in my head. And it's a great example of why protein is really good to just try and get in. Just make an attempt to get more protein in. Obviously, if you're following the meal plan or you're following the macros that we've set, you're going to be hitting a good protein goal. But it's just important to remember. So number four, a little bit left field. So like I say, if you can fill yourself up, you're less likely to crave the food, get cravings for snacks and sugar and things like that, because if you're full up, you're not really thinking of food as much. So this one kind of is bulk your meals out. Number 4, bulk your meals out with low calorie food. So when we're talking low calorie food, like I'm talking low calorie fruit and veg pretty much. So for breakfast, you can put more blueberries, more raspberries, food that's going to give you a lot of bulk for very little calories. You can have a lot of raspberries, a lot of strawberries. Your plate of strawberries can be massive and you're probably only getting 50, 60 calories in. So bulk your meals out, and then for like lunches, for dinners, putting more vegetables in there, like broccoli, peas, kale, spinach, things like that, things that are going to really bulk your meals out and barely take any, they're barely giving you any calories. So one of the things that I've been doing quite a lot recently, because my diet hasn't been on point, but I want to do that, I want to get it better. I've been putting baby spinach in my smoothies. Can't taste it, bulking it out with getting good nutrients in through the food as well, but bulking the food out, so I'm actually filling the meal out a lot more without actually having more calories. So hopefully that makes sense. Number 5 links into the last couple as well, is feeling more full, is drinking more water. A lot of us don't drink enough water, and when you're drinking more water, it actually fills you up a lot more. It actually helps digest food. I think the body is made up of 60% water, and it's criminal that a lot of us don't drink enough water. There's a hell of a lot of benefits, but it can actually make you feel a lot more full. So when you're combining that with everything else that we said, it can have a massive, massive impact. So hopefully that makes sense. Let me know if you've got any questions on it, and yeah, hopefully that helps you stop snacking as much. But like I say, don't put too much pressure on yourself. We're not perfect. One of the things people make mistakes of doing is putting too much pressure on themselves when they're dieting, thinking that you have to be perfect, and that always leads to all or nothing mentality, self-sabotage. And I think the longer that you can go on a diet, even if you're not perfect, even if you're just doing 60, 70%, the longer that you can do that, the more chance, the higher percentage of success that you're going to have at sticking to it and making it a lifestyle change.